know how dangerous it is to hire a caregiver without an agency? We're going to tell you all about it. Stick around. I'll get fired up on that one.
Welcome to Senior Care Made Simple, an elder care podcast, your guide to navigating home health care with confidence. Hosted by Andrea Albertini, founder and CEO of Horizon Care Services, an industry leader in private duty home care in South Florida. To learn more, visit horizoncareservices.com.
So this gets me so fired up. You guys have no idea. That Brazilian side of me comes out. And today we have again Lucy Torres, our Director of Sales and Marketing for Horizon Care Services.
Oh, I love this. I love it. The passion. Oh, yeah, I just feel the passion and the heat and the hot. I know this is going to get you fired up. Come on, let's get into this because I'm so excited.
Oh, listen, you got the Puerto Rican and the Brazilian in the room. Oh my God, help us all. So anyway, this gets me so mad beyond comprehension. So I want you guys to really think about this. And I don't know if this happens in any part of the country, but it happens in South Florida a lot because we have so many seniors here, right? So one of the things, and the reason I know this is because I end up getting the client, okay, after some damage has been done financially to that particular client.
Yeah.
So here's how it happens. Clients hire people from the streets. A lot of people don't know about home care, especially the elderly. So what happens a lot of times in our business is they just hire anybody and everybody.
A friend of a friend. My friend.
Yeah, it could be a friend of a friend.
I have a friend who can help you.
Yep. And here's the other thing. Those people are not credentialed, nothing. The risk
They're not trained.
No.
They don't know what they're doing.
And the risk of hiring somebody from the street, it's either a friend of a friend or sometimes they are in a hospital and somebody solicits them. Right? Some of the hospital workers solicit them for private duty for somebody that they know. Or sometimes it's just a friend say, oh yeah, I know somebody that can help you. This creates a major danger to an elderly person. Elderly abuse have rise tremendously, especially in the state of Florida. So here you have a caregiver and you love one home, or in your home, perhaps if you are listening to our podcast and you are now having home health services or having a stranger in your house, right? So you practically become property of that stranger. And she can steal your property. She can have you sign papers, giving you home to her, to him. She can steal your money, charge your credit card. There is no accountability. So along the way in my life with Horizon Care Services, I hear this every single week because I happen to get those kind of referrals. And usually what happens is this. I had Lucy, I was in one of our country club a couple of weeks ago, very high-end country clubs. I mean, you're talking about homes that's worth $6, $7, $10 million, right? On the Intercoastal in Palm Beach County. So a lot of those people in the office that works at the administrative office, they're notaries.
Oh, yes.
All of them are notaries.
That's the key way to become exploited.
Exactly. So what happens is this. So this caregiver brought this gentleman into the administrative office of this country club for them to sign this paper. And this paper is giving everything he has to this particular caregiver.
Horrible.
So they noticed it was what was happening. They called the police, and the police came, and they called the children, and the children removed this caregiver and filed charges against this caregiver, and called us because they know us. We have such a great reputation, and they called us to take care of him.
And I'm sure that wasn't their first time doing this to someone.
No, it wasn't.
They just possibly were not caught before. When you mentioned that, it takes me to this. Not everyone that's in scrubs is a nurse or a vetted caregiver. Okay. There's no regulation that just anyone can wear scrubs. So just because someone has on scrubs doesn't mean that they have the credentials to provide you care in the home environment.
Right.
So that's kind of a misconception that the elderly have because they don't know. They trust you. Nurses to us are angels. We trust them. And we almost have this stigma that stays with us, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing because, yes, they are. But not everybody that's dressed like them are them. What I mean by that is I've seen people privately in a home providing nursing care. I've come across patients that have had wounds that, oh, the girl that comes to help me, she takes care of my wound. Oh, she's a nurse? No, she's been taking care of me. She comes, she does my laundry, she does my food shopping. How is she taking care of this wound? Well, she's taking care of it, and oh, horror story. They finally go to the doctor. The doctor sees this wound and who was taking care of it. Point being that you didn't have the correct supervision. That's a tremendous danger that this person who doesn't have any qualifications, this is completely out of scope of care, scope of practice for them, is telling you, well, if you pay me this much, I'll also do the wound care for you. If you pay me this much, I'll also do this for you. And this is how they victimize the seniors. They are telling them, well, it would cost less if you hired me privately and pay me this much as opposed to an agency. They're just going to charge you more money. No, that's not the case. The case is that we have qualified staff. If one of our caregivers notices that there's something going on with a wound, discoloration in the skin, or weeping, they're going to immediately call our nurse in the office and say, this is going on with the patient and I notice an odor or there's a skin tear. And immediately our nurse is going to go out there and assess the situation.
Absolutely.
Call the physician and get orders if there needs to be wound care and get the appropriate type of care. And that prevents what could have been the worst scenario for this person. And that's just one of the dangers of hiring someone who's not from a private duty agency. We can talk about financial exploitation, abuse.
Abuse is huge. Talking about abuse, I got to tell you about this one that really made me so mad. And here it comes. Oh, here it comes. The Brazilian feisty one. This got me so upset. So we had this client and we got a call from actually an attorney because we get a lot of, those clients have attorneys and stuff.
Yes.
And so she had two gentlemen living with this client. Right? The house is trashed. They're keeping her from having any contact with the outside world. Okay?
Oh, so sad.
She was afraid. She was afraid, so we couldn't call the police. We couldn't do anything.
No, because it becomes like Stockholm syndrome. They start to trust them.
Right, but exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. We actually had to wait until she got it. They had to call the ambulance for her to go in the hospital, for us to be able to call the police and not let her leave and go back home until that was straightened out. So we actually had sent her to a skilled nursing facility for a 20-day rehab until we were able to get those guys out of there with the police, clean the house.
That's so scary.
But this is what happens.
Yes.
Every single day
we
in
have to
South
protect
Florida.
our seniors.
You got to protect
we have
the
to
seniors.
Protect our seniors.
And you know what? You may think that you want to be paying less, but you may be paying more.
There you go.
Okay? Because
That's
you're
right.
going to be paid with your life. You're going to be bankrupt.
That's right.
And here's the other thing. People don't understand. And this happens when they allow, when assisted living facilities allowed caregivers taking care of their clients, their residents, not from an agency, because you got to remember, you have no liability. So if that caregiver falls in your house, for $50, she can get a cheap attorney to go and file because she knows you got money. So.
They become so vulnerable.
It becomes so vulnerable, and it's ugly. I had a caregiver that I found out, not my caregiver, again, another client that we just got, that the daughter said they bought a car for the caregiver. What do you mean?
Unbelievable.
You bought a car. You bought a BMW for the caregiver. The patient bought a BMW for the caregiver. So it started $15 an hour. So it was cheaper, right? It was cheaper, wasn't it? $15 an hour versus the average rate of private duty.
Ended up being more
right?
at the end. BMW.
It cost the BMW. Guess what? The BMW was bought cash in her name. Now, did they call the police and everything? But guess what? There's nothing you can do about it because it was voluntary from the patient. And guess what? The patient is with it. Has perfectly fine. But she was persuasive to buy this BMW.
It's horrible.
This caregiver.
They have to be protected. It's so dangerous because they've become targets.
Yes.
To just the monsters that are out there. The monsters that are targeting our seniors. They're vulnerable, they're frail, and they believe that no one is involved. So no one will know if they go in there and they take advantage of them. No one will know if we steal 3 checks from their checkbook. Oh, who's going to know? They don't have anyone in their life. Their loved one passed away. They need me. And they make this senior believe, you need me.
Exactly.
And this is just
it's
when
ugly.
it becomes the worst of it. And it's horrible. And it's sad that, there are so many times that you have walked into these situations, the aftermath of that horrible situation. But thankfully, even though it was the aftermath, you can go in there and do a cleanup and get that person back to having a quality of life and being safe. And they're still able to stay in their home environment, but now it's with people that have the best interest for them.
Absolutely. We had another case, and it wasn't a patient of ours, but it was one of the attorneys that we work with that was talking to me. He says, I wish that I knew what was going on. So they couldn't get a hold of this person. She had a private caregiver. Couldn't get a hold of this person. The caregiver had her body in a freezer for 3 months. And have taken everything, was living there and taking everything from this client. I mean, this is how ugly.
You're talking about now fraud. We're talking about just...
everything.
And this also is dangerous for the family members because especially, again, when you go back to the last episode when we were talking about family members who are out of state, the family does not know what's going on. They believe that mom or dad have this wonderful person taking care of them. And a lot of times we know that pride and dignity, you are not looking at my finances. We tell our children, I'm in charge. But all of a sudden now this person's in charge. So the children are not aware. That's another thing that to talk about in the future is the advanced directives, having these things in place to protect them as well. And the children don't know that this person is now financially draining their parents' account. Well, guess what? If your parents' account is drained and that person leaves and now your loved one needs to go into a nursing home and needs to qualify for Medicaid, they are not. Because you have to justify to the government, Medicaid, where all that money went in order to qualify for Medicaid in the nursing home. So imagine if you can't speak for the years of all this money gone, how are you going to qualify? And if someone's exploited you financially and you can't show where all that money, I promise you I don't have it. I didn't cash it out and hide it somewhere. I really don't have it. What happens to that senior now? How are they going to go into a nursing home? How are they going to qualify if they need Medicaid long term? They're not because you can't prove where the money went. It's just so scary. It can be prevented. We have to be proactive and we have to protect them because it is dangerous out there for them.
Absolutely. And that's why, I am so fired up in terms of please, 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 if your parents call you and say, oh, yeah, I found a little great caregiver for me. He's been helping me, driving me to the doctors. Find out, Mom, where did you get her from? Is she from an agency? No, well, my neighbor referred. Please,
stranger danger.
Please, stranger danger. Please, use an agency that has like a liability insurance, workers' comp. It has supervisory. Somebody's going to be accountable for. If somebody doesn't show up, your mom. We know that the caregiver doesn't show up. So in Horizon Care Service, we're very strict because the caregivers have to check in with the office every time they arrive at a patient's home. So if 15 minutes late, we call the caregiver to see if maybe they had an accident or what's going on, so we can schedule somebody else to come as soon as possible. And we also have caregivers in our offices that work in the office setting here. So until we get someone over there to cover for that shift, one of our full-time staff, who are mostly nurses and CNAs, can actually go to the home and fulfill that slot time. So please, please, please do not use a non-agency caregiver for your loved ones. If any of you have any questions, have any concerns, anything at all that you want to talk about this episode today, about the dangers of hiring a caregiver without an agency, look at the show notes below, send us a message. We'll be very happy to talk about it in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Lucy?
Thank you. This was great. I love the fire. I feel it.
The Puerto Rican and the Brazilian. Here we go again. Have a great day, everybody.
Senior Care Made Simple, an elder care podcast, has been brought to you by Horizon Care Services, your private duty choice in home care in South Florida. For more information on acquiring home care assistance, visit horizoncareservices.com.